Hi, I'm Paul Seal from codeshare.co.uk. I'm just starting a series of live videos now that I'm also going to put onto YouTube. This is going to be me taking a site from a bootstrap static site that is out there for anyone to download, and I'm going to turn that into an Umbraco content managed site so that it's for my mother-in-law. She's an artist, and so she's going to have her own website. So she's going to have the advantage of using this free template, so it'll look nice, and then she'll also have the advantage of using the Umbraco CMS that I'm going to build for her, so she can manage all of that content and showcase her work and her portfolio. So yeah, that's what this whole series is going to be. This is the first video of the series. So the first thing I'll do is download the template, then I'll install Umbraco, set up the database, do all of those sort of things, and just get started, show you how you can start with that. So let's get cracking. So let's look for the free template. So I think it's free HTML5 that I like. So this is a good site to use, freehtml5.co. You can get free websites, free bootstrap templates for websites on this. I think she's already had a look at this with me, and she's picked the template that she wants to use. So this free website templates, free HTML5 templates using Bootstrap framework. So if we go, there was one called Lesser. So I'm not going to search forever. Is there a way to search on this site? So I'm just going to try and find the template that we want. Lesser free bootstrap website template, that's the one. So I'll just show you. So this is the site. This is how it's going to look at the end. It's a pretty straightforward site, but it's okay to have it as a static site like this, but if you don't manage the content, then it's pretty pointless unless you want to edit HTML files. Right, so this is the one. So I just need to find where it is in the actual site, because I don't think that solved the problem for me there. That just found me the demo site for it. So if I go back, actually I think I've already downloaded it. Let me just look in my downloads. Open a new window. I think if we look for a zip file called Lesser, no. Right, try again. So I'm going to have to find it on here now. This isn't going very well, is it? Let me just do /lesser, see if that works. Let's see what their structure is. Oh yeah, that was easy. Oh, here we go. Someone's joined the group. Cosmo. Hi Cosmo. Sorry if there's a delay. I think there's about a 2-minute delay with the video catching up with the chat. Am I rewriting the code? I will try to keep the HTML the same, but make it dynamic. Right, so demo and free download, so that's fine. So I click on that, and then I just go to free download, and that should download me the zip file. Here we go. I told you I found it before. It's got brackets 1 now. Never mind. Where's that gone to then? Sorry, I shouldn't be mumbling under my breath. So show in folder, please. Yeah. Alright, I did download it the other day. Alright then, so I'm going to put this inside. I'm going to put this inside the trunk of where I'm going to save everything. So I'm going to just paste this into here. And I'm going to extract it. And I'm just going to get the site running. So as the static site, just so we can see what it's like. I'm going to delete the zip file, don't need that. So this is the static site, so let me get IIS up and create a new site on there. So I'm going to call this, I'll just call it the template name. No, I'll call it static, yeah, the template name, lesser. And I'm going to point it to where I just extracted it out to. There we go, and I'm just going to call it lesser.web.local. Now I need to go into my host file just so that it allows me. So run as admin, I can edit the host file so that that URL will work. So do file open, all files. I need C, Windows, System 32, drivers, etc. Well, etc. I'll just open. So I've created my lesser site, so now I can go to that. So lesser.web.local, and I can see, oh, I need to put HTTP in front. No relevant source. Right, I need to be able to allow it to make changes in there. So I need to do the properties of this, add the security in there. And the reason I'm adding the security is so that it can make changes inside the folder. At the moment it can't. So I need to add IIS users and iUser. Click on OK. And then I just need to allow them to modify in those folders. So now I should be able to refresh and we should see the template working in place on my site. So it's a little bit different from the demo. It's not got all the same images that they had, but it's just got some blank images. I've used one of these ones before. So yeah, just put some like placeholder images in for you. Oh, Cosmo's asking me about Umbraco. Is it any good? Yes, it is very good. It's the best CMS I've used. You can write .NET code and ASP.NET MVC. I like to write in C#. Sorry about this, everybody. It's just what comes with the live coding. We've got a chat facility on it as well, so I can talk to the people who are watching at the same time. So if you are watching this on YouTube, that's what's happening. Just to explain. Right, so we've got this flat site working, so that's great. I probably should have changed the URL to be, oh no, it's okay as lesser, because I can always go back to this when I'm working on it. I can always check that it's looking as it should do on the original, so I'm going to leave this original in place. So I'm going to check that in, so I'm quite happy with that now. So I'm going to check this into source control. Right, so added static site. So that was the first step. There we go, what's this? Is it commercial project or just educational? So this is a favour for my mother-in-law. To keep me in the good books. Right, so I'm all checked in, so if I make any changes to that, I can always revert back to the original build that I had here. So next thing I need to do, can you hear me, anybody? And just check that you can all hear me. Microphone is on, video is on. Yeah, we're all okay, sorry about that. So next thing I need to do is set up the Umbraco package. Set up the Umbraco install. So I've got my folder here. I need to create a new Visual Studio application. Well, not a Visual Studio application, a new web application inside Visual Studio, a new web project. So let's go to Visual Studio. So new project, ASP.NET web application, and I want to call it Fiona Whitfield Art. I'm going to browse, see data, Paul, code, SVN, clients, Fiona Whitfield, trunk. So it wants to go in here. Do I want a directory for the solution? No. Click on OK. So I want an empty project. I don't want to tick anything else. I make sure there's no authentication or any of that. Don't need any of that. I just need an empty ASP.NET web application. So we'll let that install for us. I might be able to close that now. So at the minute, all I've got is that empty application. I also want to set up a database for this to sit in as well. So with it being a content management system, it's driven by a database, all the content is. So if I create myself a new database, I'm just going to call it Fiona Whitfield Art. And the options, does it want to be a 20? I'll set it as a 2012 database because that's what I've got on my hosting when it goes live. I think that'll do. So 2012. I also want to do a new login for it. A SQL Server authentication. I don't want to enforce the password policy. Go to user mappings, and then I just want to choose it from here. So reader, writer and owner, and then OK. So that's the database ready to be used when I do the install. So I now need to go to Visual Studio and do Package Manager, NuGet Package Manager console, and I'm just going to type in install Umbraco, package, and then Umbraco CMS. Hit enter. So that's going to go off to NuGet and get the Umbraco CMS package for me. It's it's really easy to set up an Umbraco site. So it's going to get everything I need for me, and then I'll be able to just build and run, and it will do the install to configure it with the database. So I will have the Visual Studio application, and I will also have the database hooked up as well. So that's why I created the database first before doing this bit, so I could be ready when I run the install process to actually put in the details of the SQL Server database. So that's just finishing off now, just adding all the references and packages that I need to be able to do this. So a drink while I wait. I hate watching people drink or eat, so I do apologise if you're the same as me. Let me know in the comments if I need to speak up a bit, because I've not got any headphones where I can hear myself or anything, so I'm not sure if everything's okay or not. Hope it is. It's usually been alright on the previous videos that I've done. Right, it's just doing the config files now, so hopefully it'll be done pretty soon. So when it's finished, we should see a window pop up with ASCII characters spelling out Umbraco. Here we go. So now we just need to do a build, and then we'll just do a run in Google Chrome. So when I do the install, I don't run with debugging when I'm doing an install, just because I don't want to intercept any events that are happening. This should all be sorted out for me. It's not anything that I want to debug at this stage. I only want to debug the code that I'm writing, not the code that I've picked up from someone else. So this should all just work anyway. Right, so here we go. So I'm just putting in username, email address and password just for the setup account. This will be the default account in Umbraco, and I want to choose customize as the option for the install, and I want to choose a Microsoft SQL Server, and I need to put in the server name from the database. So if I get that from here, and the database name was Fiona Whitfield Art. So that was the same as the login as well, and then I'll just put my password in, and then I'll hit continue. So that should be happy with that, which it is. And when you're using the Umbraco install, you can choose one of the starter kits to install. So the latest starter kit is called Fano, that's this one here. But I don't need a starter kit because I'm going to create my own templates and everything based on the bootstrap template that I got. So I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to say no thanks. Just check the time. Right, so nearly done now. So it's going to go off to, I'm going to be logged in inside Umbraco now. So this is what you get when you've created your site. This is the first thing you see. So I've got no content, I've got no document types, I've got nothing, so it's all brand new for me. So the first thing I'm going to do is create myself a user inside this package. Well, it's not a package, inside this application, because I don't use the default setup account, so I'm going to create myself one. So I'm going to set myself as administrator and just give myself access to the whole thing, and then save that. So now I'm going to log out, and then I am going to log back in again as setup. What I'll do is I'll check that I can still log in before I kick out the default user. So that's fine, I can log in. So prjc, oh no, so setup at codeshare.co.uk. So what I tend to do when I do this is log in and then disable the setup account that I did. The reason I do that is, say if there was a contractor in your business who installed a version of Umbraco and they set up with their own details, and then they set up other people as administrators, their account would be the default account, and when you log in as the other accounts, you don't see that that person is still on there. So just as a best practice, I always do it for the one that sets up the site. I always create another administrator, and then I disable this default one so it can't be used. So just tick disable Umbraco access, disable user, and then save. So now I just have to log in as myself rather than the one that I used to set it up with. It might be just something that I do, but it might be a good practice for other people to do as well. So I've got the Umbraco site set up, so that's good. I'm running off localhost though, so I don't want to run off localhost. What I want to do is run off a separate URL like I've done with the lesser template. Let me just check if anyone's asking any questions. No. So like I did with this, I want to run off a similar sort of URL structure. So I'm going to do one for Fiona Whitfield Art. So I'm going to shorten it to FWA. So it'll be fwa.web.local. So I'm going to go back into my notepad, and this time when I go into the host file, I'm actually just going to go blank again, just so I can do that rather than showing you any of my settings. So inside here, I'm going to do properties, and I'm going to do web, and I'm just going to do local IIS, and then change the URL to be the one that I just set up. http fwa web.local, save that. Alright, so it's not right, so I need to set it up in IIS first before I can save those changes. So I need to do add website, FWA, oh no, I'll do it properly, Fiona Whitfield Art. And then D drive, Paul, code, SVN, Fiona Whitfield Art, trunk, Fiona Whitfield Art. So that's done that. I also need to do the same thing with the permissions on the folder. So if I go into Fiona Whitfield Art, actually just on that, the only disadvantage, can't debug in Visual Studio if it's running in IIS. Yeah, actually, sorry, I don't know how to say your name, Desilby. You can debug in Visual Studio if it's running in IIS. That's the way I like to do it. Oh, David. I like to do it using attach to process. That's the way I work. So this way, you can have the site running on a URL all the time on your machine. You don't have to just hit debug just to see your site. So I'll show you that. If I just go to properties, I'll just finish off with these security settings. Seems like there's not really a lag this time now with the video and the chat, which is quite good. When I've used this before, there was like a 2-minute delay. So if I just quickly add some more users. This video is a bit slow, I suppose. I'm sorry about that, but this is just some of the setup that you have to do when you're creating these projects. Right, so just make sure that they've got modify access. Okay. Right, that's all done. So now I should be able to use that URL of FWA to get to this. So instead of using localhost, I can just use fwa.web.local. Just make sure I put HTTP in front because Chrome's annoying. And then if I do /Umbraco, because I've not created any content yet, so it will just give me a screen telling me there's no content to display. Hello Semi-Beard, good name. Right, so now it's running off fwa.web.local, and if I show you Visual Studio, I'm not running the project or anything, but I can still log into it and use it as a site, which is more like what you do when you're doing the when you're setting it up for your actual hosting on a web server. and you'll still be able to debug in Visual Studio as well. So if I just show you the debugging part in Visual Studio, so I go debug, attach to process, press W, make sure that I've got show processes from all users ticked, and then I look for this one here, so w3wp.exe, and then I can find the username of the app pool, which is the one I want, Fiona Whitfield Art, and then I can just attach to that and then attach. So now I'm actually debugging on the where's it gone? Yeah, so now I'm debugging on the site that I'm running. So that's how you can do the debugging even though it's running from an IIS URL rather than working in IIS Express. Will it lose its symbols if you change any code? What do you mean by that, David? Will it lose its symbols? Don't know what you mean by that, I'm afraid. So let's see if we can just get the home page working for now, just as the static home page. IIS does an application cycle, yeah. When you're debugging, per example, yeah. I'm not too sure, sorry. I've not had that as a problem. If it comes up as a problem for me, then maybe you can point it out to me. I can't see what the problem is. Anyway, let me just stop that, so I don't need that debugging. So what I need to do then is get the static build that I got from the internet in this thing called Lesser. This is the site. So I need to use all of these assets and get it running in the Umbraco site. So I can copy over the CSS, fonts, images and JS. Instead of JS, I'm going to use the scripts folder. I'll keep the CSS, fonts and images as they are. So in here I can just paste that. If you have C# code, obviously not if it's a SPA. So it's not going to be a SPA, it is going to be C#. This is how I work all the time with it, and I am able to debug. I just make sure I do a build first, and then I run the site, I attach to process, and it allows me to step through anything that I need to step through. Right, so I've just copied over the CSS fonts and images, and then what else do I need for this? Might open this in a new window actually. Right, so in here, oh yeah, the JS. So I want to just copy these and put them into the other Fiona Whitfield Art, into the scripts. Oh, I don't have a scripts actually, so I'll create a scripts folder. New folder, scripts. Paste them into there. Wonder what's in this HTML. Silence is eloquence. What's that all about? Don't know what that's about. I'm going to delete that. I don't think I need that. Right. So what else do I need? Lesser JS. So I've got. I don't think I need the SAS because I think I'm using. I'll copy it for now, and then I'll try and migrate away from using the SAS because I don't think I need to use the SAS. What else is there? So that's pretty straightforward. I don't think there's anything more to copy other than the index template, but instead of using the index template, I'm going to create myself a template within Umbraco. So I'm going to do a simple template. First of all, I'm just going to create one. I'm going to call it web base, and this is where I'm going to have my HTML markup starting and all of that. Create. I'll just check the time. I've got 10 minutes yet. Right, so that's my web base. I'll save that, and I need to create a document type, and this is going to be called home. I'm going to give it a symbol that looks like a home. I'm going to choose the colour blue will do. I'm just going to look for an icon called home. Oh, that index file, that was just for people to not browse folders, right, okay. It was a bad way to do it, just disable indexing. Yeah, fair enough, David, thanks for that. And I'm just going to associate web base with this template, save that. Oh no, I don't want to associate web base, sorry. I want to associate home. I want to create another template called home underneath web base. It will use web base as its template. Save that. Then I'm going to go back into home, and then I'm going to change the template, instead of using web base, to use home instead. Save that. Right, so now in web base I need to do @render body, so that will pass down to the home one, so that will work. And then what I'm going to do next is take the content of the index page from within this lesser here, edit with Notepad++. I'm just going to take all of this as it is at the moment, and I'm going to put it inside that web base. So I'm going to go over to Visual Studio now, and I want to show all files, so I can see all of the new ones that I've added in. So in views, I've got home and I've got web base. So in web base, it's going to have, it's got the render body there, so I'm just going to paste in all of that markup, and I'm going to grab that render body, and then just where the content starts, I'm just going to put it in there. So that's after the header, so I'm going to put it there for now. It's not going to do anything, but it's just going to make sure that it doesn't break. But this stuff below it I'm probably going to put inside the home template later, but for now it's going to be okay. Actually, I probably could put it in there, but I want to keep it simple, do it bit by bit. So I need to sort out my references to JS and change it to be scripts, and I always start with the leading slash as well, because I just want to start from the root of the site slash scripts, and it will go straight to it. And then the same goes for the CSS or any scripts at the top. So I've got CSS there. I just want to put a leading slash. I might just copy slash CSS and just replace any CSS with slash CSS. And I have got a script at the top there, so I'm just going to change that as well. Alright, so in theory it may work unless there's any path references in the CSS that aren't working properly, but we can fix those as well. So let's go into here. Oh, we need to create the home page. So if I go to here, content, create home, and call it home. Save and publish that. It's using the home template, and this will, clicking on this / will take us to the home. So not bad for a first go. It's actually brought everything through, so let's just check to see if it looks the same or if there's anything missing. Personally, I think that was quite a nice first start. Quite lucky, I suppose. Doesn't usually go so well, especially if you're doing it live, but to me there's not much difference on this. No, it looks pretty much the same. Again, this is the static site, this one here, the third tab, and the last tab is the site that I've just created in Umbraco. It's not doing anything dynamic at the moment, but I'm just showing you how. Oh, what was this? David's telling me something else. URL.content could make sure it works too, I believe. Yeah, I'm not going to use that scripts thing later down the line. What I'm going to be doing later is using the bundling and minification. So, but thanks for that tip there, but I'm not going to do it that way later anyway. Right, I think that's a good point to end this first video. So that's showing you me putting it into setting up my Umbraco site. Well, first of all, getting the template, setting that up, seeing what that looks like running locally as a static site, then creating an Umbraco site, creating a template for the master template and for the home page, although nothing is on the home one, it just inherits from the master one, and creating the home document type. Alright, I've not got any properties on there yet. Associating the home with the home template, creating the home content item at the root of the site, and then you've got this straight up. So that didn't take too long. So in the next video I will get the rest of it working on the home page. What I'll probably start doing next is just dissecting things like the navigation into its own partial view, and all these other elements on this home page, just stripping them out, putting them into smaller pieces of their own, and then we can start creating some code in some of the controllers to call these. Then those actions will call the partials, and I'll probably use some models as well to for the navigation and what have you, and start trying to make it dynamic then. And I'll show you how we can change some of the content quite easily. Anyway, so I think I'm going to end it there. Sorry to you guys that have just joined the room. If you wait for a few minutes, you'll probably be able to watch the video back and see what I've done so far, even though it wasn't loads, but you'll see how I've set up the Umbraco site, and I've got the free template site. Alright, thanks for watching everybody.